think that's good. I like that. Yep. Sure. Yes. Yep, I agree. Yeah. Yep. I gotcha. All right. Here we go. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us once again. I'm Lucien from Calvin Chen's Martial Arts Academy, and this is our all-ages beginner to intermediate Hung Gar Kung Fu class. We hope that you'll follow along. If you're new to our channel, we hope that you'll subscribe, follow, like, all that good stuff. The reason that we ask you to do that is streaming out to nobody is no fun. It's kind of lonely. And then B, we're hoping to get our YouTube channel and even our Facebook page monetized by YouTube and Facebook so that we can get some financial benefit out of this, which will help us to support us continuing to do this even after hopefully all this COVID stuff ends and we get our students back in our school. We want to keep streaming live and for free. And so the more that people engage with our content, the more that people subscribe to our channels, then the more likely it is we can get monetized by them and never have to ask you, our viewers, for a dime, which is the way to go, obviously. All right, so we're going to start as we always do, feet shoulder width, nice big hoop, and we're going to turn. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Left hand on the waist, reaching over. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and 3. Raising the arms, bending towards the floor, straight legs. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Middle once. Inhale and exhale. Again. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Middle once. Inhale and exhale. And again. 1, 2, 3. To your right. 2, 3. To your left. 2, 3. Middle once. Inhale and exhale. By the way, please also do join us for our advanced class today, our advanced Hung Gar Kung Fu class. That's going to be, this is 11:15 to 12:15 at 12:30. During that class, we're actually going to do a kind of a Q&A. Sivu's going to briefly talk about is our traditional martial arts relevant today? You know, we've got MMA and, you know, people have guns and all that good stuff. But is our traditional martial arts relevant? And why do traditional martial arts, even in the face of that, whether people feel it's relevant for self-defense or culturally or what are the reasons one might do traditional martial arts? Because the pursuit of traditional martial arts is something that it's a lifetime pursuit, and it's not necessarily an easy path, but it is something that's very rewarding. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. There'll still be instruction, but we will talk about that. So we hope that you'll tune in. You can ask questions if you're on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, Calvin Chen's Martial Arts Academy, same thing for Facebook, and check it out. We're going to hopefully we'll have some input from some of you at home. All right, so we're going to make a circle with the waist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1, and 2. We switch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Crossing the arms, place them on the knees. We're going to make a gentle circle with the knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Let's switch hands, switch directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Very good. Hands on the waist, turning the head side to side. 1. Do this gently. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Back and forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Tilting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Rotation, looking all the way around. 1, 2, 3. And we switch. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's open up our feet. Arms out, turning your waist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Very good. Let's cross our fingers. We're going to turn to the right. Lift your left heel off the floor, straight back, and stretch. 1, 2, 3. We switch. 1, 2, 3. Switch. 1, 2, 3. Switch. 1, 2, and 3. Both feet flat, right leg straight. And try to relax into it. And we switch. Now we switch, toe up. So again, if you're new to the channel or you're new to our page or to our video content, our classes, we do a series of fundamental warm-ups. We're going to follow this with some horse stance, punches, blocks, try to get through a bunch of kind of basic things that we want people to be able to do, and then switch. And then we're going to move on to some standing punching drills, some kicks, and then we're going to run through traditional 5 stances, and then we're going to do Moy Fa Kuen, the Plum Flower Fist set. That's the first form we teach here. Follow that with Hung Gar Kung Fu. And then if you have any questions, please feel free to comment in the comment section. Ask those questions there. I won't be able to answer them until Sifu comes and takes over, which he will do after I'm done with the second form, Hung Gar Kung Fu. But if they're in there, I'll answer them as soon as I get back to the board. Okay? Everybody up, turn to the right, bend at your waist, and stretch. Okay, let's switch. To the middle. Okay, let's bring the feet in, toes out, feet flat, elbows between the knees, opening up the hip. sit, butterfly position. That last one, for those of us who are normally in our kids' class, you know that's the frog. Okay, right leg out. Stretch towards your right foot. You want to make sure you're not lifting your knee off the floor. Switch. Both feet out front. We bounce, switch, and up. Okay, very good. Ready position. Feet about 1.5 of your foot's width apart. Toes in a straight line. Feet are parallel. So you don't want to stand like this. You want your feet parallel. Hands at your sides, body straight, and most importantly for the ready position, eyes are alert and facing forward. We make fists, pull our elbows back. Fists are at the waist. Drop the knees. Heels out, 45 degrees. Toes out, 45 degrees. Heels out, 45. And lastly, toes. You want your feet parallel, straight line from toe to toe. Knees go out. Back is straight and the body relaxed. We're going to do reverse punch, ping choi. We turn it over. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing. 1, 2. Low block press. Make sure the wrist is lined up in the middle. Make sure that you low block low enough. You don't want to stop at your belly button and get kicked between the legs. That's worse than getting kicked and you never saw it coming. So you press. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Closing. 1, 2. Middle block. We come across the body and stop at the shoulder. Don't shortcut and you come to here. You can still get hit. You come across the body, stop at the shoulder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2. Closing. 1, 2. High block. Lift. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing. 1, 2. Same thing with the high block as the low block. You don't want to go here and still get hit in the head. That's worse than just getting hit. You didn't even see it coming. Here we go. Rumam Samsik, all three on the same arm. Low, middle, high. 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 Low, middle, and high. Closing. 1, 2. Now we're going to do low block with a punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing. 1, 2. We're going for consistency here. This is why you don't let your elbow out because your punch is going to go all over the place. Let it come straight up from the waist to the center line. Your other hand's in the blocking position. Okay, middle block with a punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing. 1, 2. High block. We're going to lift. Same thing. Don't bring the hand up this way. Bring it up the middle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1 and 2. Closing. 1, 2. Okay, Danji Kyoso, we're going to pull back. Squeezing down all your fingers except for that index finger. Pull elbows straight back, hands at the chest. We're going to come back to the same spot each time. We're going to push out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and and 6. Going low, 1, 2, 3. So just as a reminder for some of our kids from the kids class, you don't want to bend your waist and you don't want to straighten your arms. You want to keep your back straight and you have that nice round hoop. Elbows are bent. Hands line up on your hips and your shoulders. Pull back. 4, 5, and 6. Good. Going high. Eyebrow height with the fingertips. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Last set in front of you, shoulder width, shoulder height. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Thrust, flip, roll, press. Thrust, flip, roll, press. Thrust, flip, roll, press. And we close. Closing up our feet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shake it out. Good. Deep breathing. Inhale. And through the nose, exhale. Again, palms up, elbows down, elbows out. Make sure you don't drop your hands. The hands come out, horizontal, and down. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Very good. Feet shoulder width apart, bending the knees slightly. Left hand on the waist, right fist to the center, and punch. And switch, punch. So the philosophy here at Calvin Chen's Martial Arts Academy, for how you throw a punch, it's a stone and a rope. The fist is a stone, your arm is a rope, meaning there's not a lot of tension in it. It just whips out there. You might notice it's great to be strong. I'm not going to say anything negative about having muscle. Probably sometimes wish I had more of it. However, you'll notice that bodybuilders aren't great boxers. Right? If you want to have the muscle that you need to throw punches, you need to throw punches. That's the best way to develop that muscle for that task. Training is very specific. Okay, stop, turn to the side, punch. So we keep the body facing the front, the head turns to the side, and the punch lines up with the body. Okay, stop, switch, punch. Everything else stays relaxed. Tension, it's like COVID. It's infectious. Okay, stop. Both fists up. Fist by the elbows, vertical elbow. We're going to turn, drop that punch over the opposite knee so it comes diagonally down. This fist stays at the ear. We turn. So this is an alternating punch. Keep your head forward. Don't turn your head. You'll lose sight of your opponent in front of you. And let it go. Okay, stop. Be natural. Edge of the fist and punch out. Okay, switch, punch. Very good. Point your right toe to the 45 degrees from the front. Touch the arch of your left foot to the right heel, and step straight out. So you don't want to be over here or out here, but straight out from the heel, lightly touching like a cat. Left hand up, right arm is your low block position. Keeping your guard, you're going to switch and punch. Keep your weight on the back leg. Switch, 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 and switch. Good job. Deep breathing. Palms up, elbows down. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. exhale. So the next thing we're going to do is 5 stances. This is not the wushu 5 stances. That's kind of one of the first things that they teach in wushu. This is Hung Gar traditional 5 stances. It's something we do at Calvin Chin's Martial Arts Academy. We teach this before we teach the first form. This houses a lot of the footwork, not just the stances, but the stance transition and some basic punching and striking, some blocking techniques that you would find really useful as you start out with Kung Fu. So we're going to do it at a nice even pace. We're going to go in 4 directions. When Sifu's teaching, I'm manning all of the equipment in the back end, and so I can cut from this camera to this camera to that camera to this camera. But when it's me in front of the camera, there's no one to run that machinery, so I'm in front of this camera here, and this is our only view. But we are going to go in 4 different directions, so hopefully you'll be able to see from all sides and follow along. Okay, if there is anything that's not clear as I go through this, put it in the comments section, and when I get back to the mixer, when Sifu comes to take over and continue teaching the class, I can get those questions clarified, okay? So we have hands at the sides, that ready position we were talking about. We make fists, raise them up, elbows back, open the palms, drop the elbows, push out. When you do this, notice you don't want my arms to be straight out, and I also don't want my hands to come together. I want them as wide as my shoulders. Elbows are bent at a 45-degree angle. Palms up, I make fists, pull, open, push, pull, push, pull, push. Double elbow strike up, press, thrust, press. We make a big hoop, and we close. Now, right fist on top, bending the knees, step out, offset horse stance. That's toe to heel. Sorry, I got a little problem with the wire on the mic there. Draw the bow, Chunkyu. So again, you're not going to do this with a straight arm locked out. Okay, you're going to open the chest and the waist. Sliding step, leaning stance, punch. I'm going to adjust my step so I don't leave the camera frame, but normally you would just step all the way through, left hand underneath. Remove as you elbow strike behind, turn your waist and your stance, punch. Toe out, big cross step, make a hoop, dragon whip's tail. Notice my left heel is off the floor. Spin out, corner back fist to the head, make a circle, intercept as you toe out, step up, cat stance, punch. Step straight back, cover. High block, low block, left knee up, drop and chop, step out, offset, to leaning, uppercut. So your uppercut doesn't go up here, not down here. You're going to stop the height of your chin, lined up on the center. Step up, close. I'm going to move back this way so I don't come too close to this camera. Right fist on top, step out, offset horse stance, chun. Sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Left hand underneath. Step all the way through, pull your elbow back. That's like an elbow strike behind you. Turn your waist, punch. Toe out, big cross step, make a hoop, turn, dragon whip's tail, spin out, check your feet, you should still be offset horse stance, toe to heel, corner back fist to the head, make a circle, intercept, toe out, step up, cat stance, punch, step straight back, cover, high block, low block, left knee up, chop, uppercut to the center, and close. Now we're going this way. Right fist on top, step out, offset horse stance, chun. Sliding step, punch. Left hand underneath, step all the way through, remove. So as you pull your elbow back, scraping your left hand along your right arm, and then striking out with your arm, with your left hand as you elbow strike with your right, creates this action from the body to remove. Turn your waist, punch. Toe out, big cross step. Dragon whip's tail. Spin out. Corner back fist to the head. Make a circle. Chun. Step up. Punch. Step straight back. Cover. High block, low block. Left knee up. Drop and chop. Uppercut. And we close. Last direction. Right fist on top. Step out. Offset horse stance. Chun. Sliding step. Leaning stance. Punch. Left hand underneath. Step all the way through. Leaning stance. Remove, punch. Toe out, big cross step, make your hoop, turn, dragon whips tail, spin out, corner back fist to the head, make a circle, chop, step up, punch, step straight back, cover, high block, low block, left knee up, chop, uppercut, and we close. Hopefully you're able to follow along at home. If so, well done. Deep breathing, inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. One more time, inhale, and exhale. Okay, very good. If you want to get a quick drink of water, feel free to do so. The next thing we're going to do is Moy Fa Kuen, the Plum Flower Fist set. This is the first form that we teach here. If you're joining us from another school, another teacher, another lineage, but you have Moy Fa Kuen in your system, you may notice this is a slightly shortened version. We do an abbreviated version because it's the first form we teach to kids, and sometimes the repetitiveness of things on the four sides can be a little confusing to them. So if you notice that slight difference, take it for what it is. We also do the full version, but we're going to do the abbreviated version here because we have students that have learned it that way, and we want them to be able to follow along without getting confused. All right. So here we are. We're going to take it nice and slow, piece by piece, step by step, so that hopefully you can follow along at home. That ready position we were talking about, feet 1.5 width of your feet apart, hands at your sides, body straight, eyes alert. Make this, raise them up, left hand to the center, step up with your right foot, turn the waist, suspended, turn the waist, salute. Step straight back, 1, 2, and close. Bend the knees, toe out, step out, offset horse stance, high block, low block. Pull your foot back, cross step, cross hands, step through with your right foot, right hand middle block, turn. Gumlung Hunjiao, dragon claw. Right fist on top, step straight back, chun, scoop, step up, uppercut. Left hand on top, cat stance, low block remove, step up, punch. Squatting stance, drop. High block hammer fist, step out, uppercut, remove, punch. Toe out, cat stance to the side, high block hammer fist, step out, cross block. Turn to the rear, to the middle, even movement, drunken punch. Left hand underneath, cat stance, remove, high block. Step up leaning, turn your waist, punch. Squatting. Uppercut, sliding step, punch. Squatting. Elbow up, suspended, cut. Double palm strike to the waist, remove, punch. On this one, we toe out, step all the way to the back, leave your right fist aside so you can bring it across to intercept. Left hand underneath is a check. Now we're going to turn the waist, rolling elbow. You have to have mobility in the shoulder. If my shoulder is tight, no matter how fast I turn my waist, the elbow didn't make it to the end. So you have to allow this to be your pivot point. From here, drive it from the legs and the waist. Turn your waist and go. Corner low corner back fist. Again, remember, it's not just a single excessive arm technique. As your back fist comes out, your left hand goes to your waist, you settle. Turn to palm strike, leaning stance, palm strike to the chest. High block, outside crescent, hop kick, press, turn your waist, trap, bong seal. Quattro, back fist, left hand on top, remove, step up, punch. Right fist on top, change your direction, clearing the way, chun, sliding step, palm strike to the waist. Pull your foot back, pivot, cross step, press, kick, punch, dragon. Right fist on top, step straight back, chun, sliding step, punch, middle block, salute. We step back 1, 2, 3 steps back to close the form. Close, 1 and 2. Very good so far. Hopefully you're able to follow along. Deep breathing. Again. And one more time. Very good. So next up, we're going to do Hung Gar Kung Fu, the Lao family fist set. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know, on our YouTube channel, on our website, on our Facebook, we have a lot of instructional content. We also have what used to be our members-only video area at calvinchin.com in the streaming video page is now open. There's no password. So there are videos that have tutorials for each individual form in the system. I believe going up through Gunji Fuk Fu. So you can always also use that as a reference. Again, we kind of opened it up to the public because we saw a need not just within our own school and our own community, but also worldwide, that there are a lot of people on lockdown and just wasting away, getting fat at home is not the way to go. So we want to open it up and offer people an opportunity to get moving again and still be safe with social distancing and all that. So the next thing I'm going to do is Hung Gar Kung Fu. This is the second form, Lao Family Fist. That's the second form that we teach at Calvin Chin's Martial Arts Academy. You'll notice, again, some of those movements from 5 stances you'll see in this form. And when we're done with this form, then Sifu's going to come take over, and you'll have his capable instruction as well. So hopefully you're having a good time so far. Ready position, make fists, raise them up. Middle block, leaning stance, left hand. Turn. Toe out, suspended, salute. Step straight back, draw the elbows in, pulling back. Shift, pivot, middle block, salute. Step back, turn. Feet together, and close. I can see that I'm blocking the camera from the mirror's view. Okay? 2 punches to the ears. 2 punches down. Open, push out. Right hand's a fist, scoop. Cross step with your left foot forward, left hand middle block. Step up, punch, just like 5 stances. Step straight back, cover. High block, low block, and chop to the waist. Pull your foot back, pivot, scoop. Press, kick, and punch. Right fist on top, step back. We change directions and clear the way. Chun. Sliding step, punch. As you step through the leaning, set the high block position and Tindu. Lift, Songgong. Elbows down, dragon. Turn, toe out, big cross step, high block, low block. Pivot, palm strike to the waist. Pull the foot back, scoop. Press, kick, hop. Cat stance, thrust. Cut, double chop, and Tindu with a cross stance. Kick with the edge of the foot. Press, phoenix eye. Right fist on top, chun. Sliding step, punch. Left hand on top. As you step through, fold the elbow. Okay, enjang, penetrating elbow. Dropping palm, lao. Back fist. Right fist on top, step out, clear the way, chun. Sliding step, leaning stance, punch. Step all the way up. Right hand's the high block position. Left hand reaches out. Drop the elbow, two. Lift, Songgong. Elbows down. Turn, dragon. Turn. Big cross step, high block, low block. Pivot out. Should be in that offset horse stance. Sliding step, palm strike to the waist. Pull the foot back, scoop. Press, kick, hop. Thrust. Open, chop. Cross step, Tindu, kick, phoenix eye, both hands down, we turn to the corner. Keep your hands lined up with your waist. A lot of times butterfly, you see people do a really big arm motion, but you don't have leverage to do that. So you turn your waist, keep your hands with the body. Cross step, right hand on top, we call it turn the wheel or flip, left hand to the shoulder, right hand to the hip, and push. Cross step, turn and scoop. Cross step, flip, step through, leaning stance, push. Step out, low, leaning stance, middle. Step out, low, leaning stance, middle. These are facing the corner. Step straight back, right hand middle block. Reach out with the left hand, chop to the neck, leaning stance. Adjust your foot, penetrating elbow, dropping palm, back fist. Cross, pivot, lift, 1, 2. Cross step, open, trap. Step up, press, thrust. Left hand middle, suspended to the corner, turn, salute. And again, 3 steps back. 1, 2, 3, and we close. So hopefully you're able to follow along with that. I hope that you've been having a good class so far. Inhale, exhale. We'll do it two more times. And one more time. And here comes my Sifu and our Sifu, Calvin Chin, to take over.
Okay. All right, so we got the review of the first and second form. And as I did last class, what I did was I did the first leg of the first form, and I did some pieces of the second form. So for people that are learning, I just do sections so that if you're on that section, we just run through it a few times so you get a pretty good perspective of what's going on. So the last class, we get to the uppercut sliding step, okay? So what's the next piece that has to happen after that is we end up squatting down again. So I'm just taking you to this position, okay? So we squat down, we elbow up, and then we go to this position. So where is that going to happen? It happens over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's the direction of the movement. So when we're in the final position here, we squat down. So we have the horse stance, then we squat down, we lift up, then we cross the hands. So this is setting up for each of the postures so that we can begin to understand what the next several moves are. And then we end up here. Okay, so let's do it looking at the front mirror. So we're going to go like this. 1, right? 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. Okay, so we're finishing this punch. We squat down, elbow up, cross hand, suspended horse, cutting hand, palm, remove, low, step forward, punch. Okay, so if you're learning this first form, the consistent thing that we do throughout the form is the removing. It's called removing or take away, right? We're going to take away. Someone grabs your hand, you take it away. If you're in a palm strike position, you take it away. So there's a theme to the specific form. So every form has certain movements that are unique to that form, but then there's a lot of movements that are consistent. There's movements that are fundamentals. So in this form, we have the uppercut, remove. We have the double palm, remove. We have a back fist and remove. So that's all taking this position from the elbow to this position. So if we're here, goes to the elbow, you do that. If you're in a back fist, you go to this position and you remove. So you're moving from the elbow down your forearm as the idea of moving. Now that's how we practice it in form. But if you, in this position, you might cross over and use your whole arm to separate the movement. And you do that actually when you chun kill. When I go like this, I'm essentially taking this position, right, from here to here is the block. But if someone grabs your hand and you put your hand over here, you would essentially remove too. So you see the whole theme in this form is removing. And removing just teaches you a real basic idea that this side has to work with this side so that there's an exchange between the two movements. In fact, when you get to the fourth form and we cross the hands, we have a movement like that, which is very similar. It's exactly the same idea. All right. So once we squat down, we lift the elbow to a triangle position. So you can see the triangle here, and then we slip this hand over here. 1, 2, and we step up with the right foot forward, cutting hand, palm, remove, and punch. Okay? Now, that actually happens over here, and then we step to the back. So if you started on that front side, your back side's going to have this elbow, back fist and palm. But I'm going to do it in the mirror so you can see what actually happens. When you take a step, this is, again, removing. You have that movement in the 5 stances. Do you recall that? When you chun kill, punch, right here's the removing, right? So that movement really is this position. Now you draw back. Now we're going to elbow. Back fist. Okay, palm. So then for newer people, you might say, well, I thought this was back fist. You know, how come this is back fist now? Well, back fist only means the back of your hand, the back of your fist. So if you do a back fist, it could be here, it could be here, and it could be here. So there's 3 spaces. High, which is the face, middle, or really shoulder height, and low. So it's high, middle, and low. That's your back fist. So that's out to the side. Well, what about this? That's a back fist, using the back of the fist, and it's coming down. Okay. So get familiar with the direction of the movement. Then you know when we talk about a back fist, corner back fist to the face, back fist level, back fist vertical. So this back fist generally comes in the next series of movements, and I'm going to go over that, right? So when we're here, let's take it from here. Squat down, elbow up, cross hand, cutting hand, palm. Remove and punch. Okay, let's go to the next posture. 1, 2, corner back fist, palm. Okay, so what did we do earlier was a double palm like this. The palm thumbs are up, the fingertips to the side. So when you do a double palm to the waist, it's low toward the waist, but the fingertips are turned out to the side. You notice that? When we're doing this palm from the elbow back fist, this palm is vertical. Okay, so we have one like this and one like that. Okay, so you have to distinguish those 2 palm strikes. Low toward the waist, you turn your fingers to the side, because if you go like this, you're not going to be able to hit with your palm. You're going to jam your fingers. So you're like this, you use your palm, and you come in like this, or like that, or like that. That's 2. All right? If you're going to the chest, you would be like that. Or if you're going to the chin, it would be like that. So the palm would be vertical. So you still can sort of focus on the palm of your hand as a striking point, or coming up from here as a striking point toward the chin, or right to the nose. So that's what you would be striking, like that. Okay? So once you do the elbow, you set this palm up, turn your shoulders to your body is like this. Now the elbow is here, so when I turn the body like this ends up here. Okay? So you're in your horse stance and you turn. And then you strike. So you notice when I strike, this goes back to there, and then you palm. Then the next movement's going to end up here. Okay? So that's the order of the movement and the way we're turning. So the form, when we started here, it's going to move this way, and we're going to be on this side now. So after the elbow, we turn to this side, and then we move this foot in, we bring this foot over, and then we're going to switch down like this and press. Trapping hand, back fist. Here's, again, remove and punch. So that's how it tracks across in the sequence. So over there, we would have the elbow. We go over there, and then we move around. And on this side, we have the high block. Okay, we have the high block, go to center, crescent kick. Now this is here. Switch, down, trap, back fist, remove, and punch. Okay, so that's the piece of sequence that you could work on if that's where you are in the form, and hopefully you can practice that. And then when we go through the whole sequence, you can link it together and follow along that way. Okay, now I'm going to move to the second form. And I think last time we worked on up to this point. Okay, now, first form, we actually have this palm strike, scoop, press, kick, and punch. We go to the dragon to close. So in this form, we also have a chop from here, and this goes to here, chop. So this is a cutting hand, cut, chop. This goes here, scoop, press, kick, punch. Instead of going to dragon, we go to here, to Cheurng Kuen. And then there's a whole section of form there that usually we do as a, sort of a section of the form linked together. These two sides are the same, so we're here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and you're chopping to the waist. 1, 2. So what you're trying to develop is the coordination. We're here, right? We punch. We're here. We step back. We turn. We lean. Now this hand's going to intercept, because you can imagine here, intercept, chop. Okay? After we chop, we want to kick. We just can't kick from here because we're out of position, so we have to chop, okay, scoop, press, kick, and punch. And then we set up here, 1, 2, and we're hitting in that direction. All right, so that's a piece that you can work on, all right? From here, we punch, we set up, we're here, we're here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, down, 6, okay? We don't do the dragon, we end up changing directions, and we're heading in that direction. Okay, so there's your horse stance, and then it's follow-up. Now that leg of the form, we've done several classes. Maybe, I don't know, maybe near the beginning we did a lot of that. So if you backtrack to some of those old videos, you might see that section. But the next time we do the class, we'll go over that for those of you who are still learning. So from the beginning, we have this, open, scoop, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, right? Chop. 1, chop. Scoop. We want to turn, press, kick, and punch. Set it up. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so you can see Cheurng Kuen, sliding step, punch. Those are standard movements. When you, like I mentioned in the last class, once you get familiar with some of the transitions and the postures, it gets a lot easier to build your sequence because you start to memorize pieces, but they're not giant pieces that you're trying to memorize. You learn a piece, like in this section in the front, you have that piece. When we get to that side, you have that piece. And if you learn that piece, you're going to have it for this side because that's exactly the same. Then in the back side, you'll have one movement, really, essentially, and then you get back to the front, and there's a whole series there. So that's something for the second form learners, and that's actually the second form is called Hung Gar Kung Fu, right? So that form is something that has a lot of movements, completely different from the first form sequentially, and then it has a lot of new movements that will be pretty interesting for people that have finished the first form and get there. The third form, I had worked on that a lot, but we're going to actually go through the third form from beginning to end, and then if you're on the third form, I might be able to kind of give you some insight on that. So we're in the shoulder width stance, bend the knees, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Right? Catch. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that's the third form. Complete. Okay, deep breathing. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Exhale. Okay, so let's go from here. Sink. Take a step. Lift. Take a step. Lift. Take a step. Lift. So I just want to clarify. In the film, I might have not shown that clearly enough, but I want you to realize that when you're crossing the hands, the side that lifts should be underneath, so the legs actually cross each other in the hands. They split. They split. Okay. So the cross hand position, that's pretty common in any style of martial arts. Cross hands. Cross hands. Cross hands. Cross hands. It's just a center line position. They call it sometimes a cross block. Most of the time, when someone throws a punch, you're not going to do that, and you're not going to block like that. But these are training positions. But if you take it literally, if something comes here, kick you in the groin, you're going to go like that. Well, my cross hands is a little bit higher than my groin. It's not going to work. You got to really go down. So that's not how you would block a kick to the groin. You would do this or this. So you have a little bit more. When you're like this, you're going to get your fingers kicked and you're going to get jammed. So this is just a position to find your center and transition through. Okay, so most people will not block like this. So, and you're probably pretty stuck in the position. So you're just going to pass through those positions. This is a high position, but you don't really need to block both hands with the high position. And one of the reasons why you wouldn't want to go into a cross hand position when you go like this, because if someone grabs the back hand and pulls it down, what ends up happening, you're going to be stuck here, right? If I'm like this and the person pushes my hand, I'm going to have this hand jammed up. So you really don't tense both hands. One hand should be able to free itself so that you have some mobility. So a lot of these movements, when you cross your arms, do not lock them out and become rigid, because that just gives your opponent more to work with. You just go up and then it's gone. You go down, it's gone. So when you're here in the fourth form, we have the cross hand position, but it's crossing to transition, crossing to get from one side to the other. So that's just a tip, a bit of advice there. Right now, when we cross to here, when we do this is a vertical elbow, similar to what we would call a bick. So it's an elbow that comes like this. So, and you catch it here, right? We're here. So that's just the type of thing that we have in this form, where you catch and you strike and you catch. It gets your other hand working together with the, sort of the offensive movement. So this, when we step up, is really sidestepping and hooking. So you can imagine someone throwing a punch, you sidestep. Now you're like this, you have the arm, and boom, and that's where the face is. So that's what it would be. So that's or to the, wherever you're striking. It's in the upper position. So you see, you duck and you strike, and then you move on to another posture. Not necessarily working in that specific order when you're applying a technique in the form. It's just kind of taking you through the paces to go from one position to the next. So you learn how to move. You have footwork. This could be a knee strike. This could be a lift. It could be a side kick. So if you went up, the side kick would be there. This is the cut. So when you cut, you could kick. You could step down. Now stepping down, cross block. I said, this is not reaching. When you go like this, that's a cross position. You see the cross? This is open. I go like this. That's a cross. This is a press. Now, this is what you're doing like this. So what you're doing is crossing. You're blocking like this or deflecting, and then you're moving like that. So it's a point, like I said, a transition set up to separate your hands. That's why when you're here, you want the lower hand to go down. You don't want to be here, and then you don't have the ability to get through that. So you'd have to take this hand away, so it's not as efficient. All right. Okay, so that's the third form. That's a piece there that we worked on. And then we can do a few movements from the fourth one. Last time, I worked on the pivoting of the feet being, a value as you progress in your forms. So that's really important. Edge of the hand strike. Here we have removing again. So all of those movements that we've already learned and kind of familiar with. So by the time you get to the fourth form, look at what we have in common. We have this as a sweep. We have this as a sweep. So look at the hands. The hands essentially will do the same transition. Now this is a little lower. This is a more horizontal. This is high. So if you learn and build that coordination where the hands are flipping and reversing, it gives you more options for changing directions. And when you learn that, it really becomes another motor skill. It builds coordination and direction. Most of our movements, all the movements are directed in a direction. So if you're punching forward, you're like this. If you're punching up, you're like this. You're punching down, you're like that. Punching out to the sides, you're like that. So in the second form, we have this as a drill to learn that we can punch this way, we can punch this way, we can punch this way, we can punch this way. And we can punch this way, or we can punch this way. So you can see the hands are moving, sometimes in parallel movements, sometimes they're moving in sideways to the edge. So we go to the side, we have this option, we have this option, we have this option, right? Those are just some samples. When we go to the front, we have 1, 2, 3, that's a flat punch. We have the vertical punch, the sun punch. Okay, we can thrust, fingertips. We have phoenix eye. These are all movements that we've learned, from the beginning of the forms. So these, what are those? Those are positions. Those are joint angle positions. A joint is these things. Well, a body's made up of a lot of joints, and we have to create these positions. I call them the geometry of position, the triangle, the square, okay, and the circle. And the circle is when we do the high blocks, okay. Vertical is when we do middle blocks, getting the hand vertical. And hook position is this when we do a hook, 1, 2, 3. So we think of this as the hoop, but that's defining this position as the end of that half circle, end of that half circle. So we don't have a whole lot of hooks until we, in any of the forms really, but it shows you a direction of movement. This is an uppercut, and it's kind of a hook in the vertical direction. We have a hook that's horizontal like this, and the reverse of the hook is this. So when we go to the third form, we have the hook here, and we have the hook here. So the two hooks is really directed to the temple. So if I'm here and I hook, it's like here. if I'm in this position and I chop and I hook, that's the left hook turns to a back fist. If I hook and I turn to a back fist, that gives you the idea that a transition is moving from one position to the next position, to the next position, to the next position, taking the movements from one side to the next. And it shows you how you build continuity of movement. Because when you get stuck is usually when your body doesn't know when the next movement is or how to react. So response time really is based on the patterns that you have developed, and then the action that you've already kind of built into your system, getting it into your sort of your reflex mode, and that does take some time, right? So, Lucian, what time is it? Okay, so on that note, we're done with this practice with the drills that we just work on for the specific forms. Review it, go to some of the other videos if you've reached sections that you really haven't learned yet, but they're in some of the previous videos. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, use the social media, have a good weekend, and I'll see you next Tuesday. So for the youth, just keep practicing. You'll get through it in a matter of time. All right, on that note, I'll see you in the next session, which is in about 15 minutes.